by...
Once retired, Marcus decided, I will never again work for another man or woman. I abandoned my corporate phone plan, and I'll get a new plan with Consumer Cellular for up to half the cost.
Let's go, birds.
When freedom calls, we're here to answer.
Okay, everyone, our mission is complete balanced nutrition. Together, we provide nutrients to support immune, muscle, bone, and heart health.
Yay! Ensure with 25 vitamins and minerals, and Ensure Complete with 30 grams of protein.
Monday on ET, growing up Timberlake.
He's just looking at me like, what?
Happening now.
The Bexar County Sheriff's Office has more information about a body found in a suitcase. We'll tell you about the one clue that could determine who this person was.
Still a bit of hazy dust overhead, but not for long. We'll take a look at that forecast and an update on the tropics and if anything's developing in the Atlantic.
Your sky-high utility bill isn't just from running your air conditioner nonstop. What you can do to save money while doing your laundry. The News at 5 starts right now. A duffel bag discovery filled with questions, but also one clue that might solve a gruesome murder.
A person's torso, just the torso, found on a property in South Bexar County last week with what could be a vital piece of information inked on it.
Camelia Juarez with how body art may, at the very least, be the key to unlocking who it belonged to.
This is the only clue Bexar County Sheriff's Office has to identify a man, a dragon tattoo on his back. The Texas Rangers Forensics Lab creating this mock-up of the tattoo that was based on the one found on the torso, and even that is not perfectly clear.
This is not an exact replica of that tattoo. Due to some factors, we were not able to get a good, usable picture.
The torso, stuffed in a duffel bag and found in a field, offered little else to help investigators.
The body parts that were found were strictly a torso. So in other words, we didn't find a head, arms, or legs, just the torso.
In fact, Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar says investigators at this point have exhausted all their resources, so they're forced to turn to us.
We've done our own checking through our jail database, through the state prison database, to see if we've got systems in place in our jail where we can query dragon tattoo on back, for example. And we just haven't had any response.
Deputies searched the entire property where the piece of luggage was found. Sheriff Salazar says there is no reason to suspect the property owners were involved in the murder.
We did, walk the area. We did knock on area doors. Nobody reports having seen anything. So, at this point, it would be pure speculation on our part to see who's responsible. I know that this could be an indicator of a drug trafficking organization.
If you know someone who might be missing with a dragon tattoo on their back or have any information helping identify this man, call 210-335-6000. Camelia Juarez, KSAT 12 News.
Now to some troubled territory. San Antonio police say violence has once again hit an area all too familiar with violence. The latest incident, a drive-by shooting that sent a man to the hospital. Officers called out to an apartment complex in the 8,000 block of Mid-Crown Drive near Waltham. The shooting happened last night just before midnight. Investigators arrived, found several bullet casings in front of the apartments. Police say the victim, a man believed to be in his 20s, was shot in the arm. We're told the suspect or suspects involved in the shooting took off in a blue car. Police say witnesses are not cooperating.
An arrest made showing how the collaboration between police and the public can work. A murder suspect off the street thanks to a tip made to Crime Stoppers. 24-year-old Seth Garcia arrested yesterday, charged with murder in connection with the shooting death of 35-year-old Eloy Hernandez. The deadly shooting happening last month on West Laurel Street near Culebra Road and I-10, and it was captured on video. Shortly after that shooting, SAPD and Crime Stoppers released the footage. And in the video, you can see the victim, Hernandez, arguing with another man in the middle of the street. Police say the other man, armed with a small handgun, he shoots Hernandez twice. According to the arrest affidavit, on June 23rd, Crime Stoppers got a tip, and they ID'd Garcia as the shooter. Police say the tipster informed them that Garcia shot himself in the foot to make it seem as though he was shot by Hernandez and gave himself a more clean-cut look. Garcia's bond now set at $250,000.
The police and Crime Stoppers hoping for the same result in another case back in February. A shooting at a Bar 47 on Pecan Valley Drive left 2 innocent bystanders with gunshot wounds. Police say a fight outside the bar escalated between 2 men when one of them pulled out a gun and fired multiple times. Investigators say another man at the scene then got a gun of his own and shot at the suspect, who took off. Police are releasing these images of the men involved. If you know anything, you can anonymously call Crime Stoppers. The number 210-224-7876. In your military headlines at 5, the U.S. Senate passed its version of the National Defense Policy Bill last night, setting up a showdown with the Republican-led House. Senators voted to pass that bill 86-11, authorizing $886 billion for fiscal year 2024. That amount, the figure included in the debt ceiling deal that was worked out between the Biden administration and House Republicans. The Senate version also includes a 5.2% pay raise for service members. The House passed its own version of the bill, known as the National Defense Authorization Act, or NDDA, earlier this month. Now, Senate leaders can begin negotiations to find a compromise version that can pass both chambers of Congress, but a floor fight might be looming over controversial amendments in the House over measures to restrict abortion and transgender health care access.
Meantime, the Pentagon says military recruitment is way down, and the shortage of new candidates is getting even worse, and it's all across all the branches of the military. First of all, the American population between the ages of 19 to 25 is still at a 15-year low. A possible reason for that is low unemployment and more job opportunities with higher wages for young people. The Pentagon also says fewer than a quarter of Americans aged 17 to 24 even qualify for military service. And that's based on poor test scores, criminal records, and physical and mental fitness issues. And then recent statistics reveal only 10% of possible candidates now say they would even consider military service.
Nevada has Area 51. San Antonio has Area 21. More specifically, the San Antonio Museum of Science and Technology's Area 21. It doesn't deal with aliens. Its doors were open to host the next generation of cybersecurity professionals. About 20 students in middle and high school participating in the Air Force Association's Cyber Patriot Camp. Through innovative hands-on projects and challenges, students are learning about different operating systems and online safety. They're also getting real-world hands-on training that will help them familiarize themselves with a security operation environment.
The skills that they learn here are foundational. They can carry these skills through middle school, high school, collegiate career. If they join the service to do cyber, they could take these skills and advance themselves further to go in the career.
Instructors with the cybersecurity camp say the exposure and experience give the students some of the basics needed to explore, perhaps even influence at some point, the ever-changing cyber world.
This continuing drought drying out the city of Lytle so much it's hit stage 4 water restrictions. The city sending out an alert today stating those restrictions are the result of a drop in the Edwards aquifer levels. So what does that mean? Well, watering your yard cannot be done on the weekend, but you can water by hand anytime, any day. If you are using irrigation sprinklers or a soaker hose, you can only water every other week on your designated day. And it has to be done between 7 and 11 in the morning or 7 and 11 at night. If you plan to wash your car at home, you can do it only once per week on Saturday or Sunday. And if you have a pool at home, 25% of it needs to be covered when it's not being used. You can use pool floats to do this. And restaurants can only serve water on request. You can find more information about the stage 4 restrictions for Lytle at KSAT.com.
More than 150 million people under heat alerts in more than 30 states across the nation. It's why there are water restrictions out there. Dangerous heat engulfing most of the eastern part of the country, with today expected to be the hottest day in the Northeast so far.
And that impact is not just on the living, those trying to live through the heat, but also the dead. Even Rodriguez with how some medical examiners are having to change their operations in order to accommodate deadly triple-digit heat.
Mobile morgues have been brought in by the Maricopa County Medical Examiner as they're pushed past capacity. They're preparing for the worst-case scenario as they near a full month of enduring record-shattering temperatures. The extra storage for bodies. A grim reminder for people in the Phoenix area of just how deadly the extreme heat has been. It's so hot, roasting temperatures are even killing cactuses.
They literally can't function, and the way I describe it is they start to suffocate.
Dueling disasters striking the state Thursday. A strong storm has ripped roofs off buildings in Mesa, knocking out power to hundreds in Phoenix.
There was transformers exploding in the streets.
This as high heat puts places in the Northeast and Midwest on high alert.
What do you guys got?
One down.
One down?
We get a lot more unconscious calls that are usually someone that hasn't been staying hydrated.
On top of sweltering heat, poor air quality is posing a threat to people spending time outside.
Recovering when I get home, staying in the air conditioning, not going out too much during the day, especially with the way the ozone, action days, and the smoke problems we've had over the last month. It's been pretty tough.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
And I want to touch on a little bit of that. They talked about the saguaro cactus basically suffocating. So my friend is a meteorologist in Phoenix, and I saw a story she recently did regarding that. And what they do at night, those big cactus, they open up basically pores and draw in the cooler nighttime air and also carbon dioxide. But it's not cool enough at night to trigger that reaction. In turn, they don't suck in that carbon dioxide and they end up basically suffocating and wilting. That's what they're dealing with in some parts of Arizona. 99 so far, our high temperature today here in San Antonio. That's the preliminary update. I'll let you know for sure coming up at 6 o'clock. Weather watchers right now, for the most part, upper 90s to low 100s all across our area. 98 wind crest near Lavernia 100 and 99 in Mico. This evening, more of the same, turning humid, a bit breezy though, southeasterly wind at 10 to 20. Still a bit of a dusty haze overhead. We'll talk about that and tropical moisture, how close it is and where it's going to go in just a bit.
Thank you, Adam. Right now, a lot of people focusing on surviving this summer's extreme heat. Leaders in the state of Alaska already in the middle of making plans for their winter. The mayor of Anchorage wants to pay for flights to send the city's homeless to warmer locations this winter. The proposal comes after the city's Sullivan Arena that used to house hundreds of people during the winter closed down. The mayor says a plan needs to be ready to be put into action to keep people from freezing to death on the Anchorage streets. His proposal would let the homeless fly within the state or to 48 lower states. Last year, similar program where the city worked with the Salvation Army and about a dozen homeless people were flown to places in the lower 48.
Taking a look outside on your Friday commute, and this is 410 at Jackson Keller, where everyone seems to be heading slowly to the west. Again, this is 410 at Jackson Keller. Nothing really remarkable going on here, just slow-moving traffic as everyone heads out of the city. Coming up, the household chores. They can be time-consuming, but if you know how doing your laundry could actually put money back in your wallet. We're going to tell you how to do that after the break.
Check out what we're working on for the News at 6. He hired a man to kill his ex-girlfriend for $10,000 back in 2019. Today, that man, Teodoro Torres, sentenced for that crime. We're going to take you inside the courtroom as Torres tries to explain to the judge that it was all just a big misunderstanding. An RV stolen in the morning, found by that night, thanks to the efforts of the owners and their friends and police, how they tracked it down. And set to be unveiled Saturday morning, a historic marker honoring a longtime voice in San Antonio's civil rights movement.
Wherever there was a fight for injustice, Daddy was there.
Jesse DeGriato details the life and legacy of John Inman. All that and more today on the News at 6.
Our power bills are doozies this summer. The biggest culprit, the AC unit, working hard in the heat. But other appliances are another factor.
At 12 on your side's Marilyn Moore shows us some easy changes to your laundry routine that could add up to savings.
Wash full loads only, but don't overfill and skip the fabric softener.
And the settings on your washer, use them like the quick wash. As for the spin cycle, go ahead and set that on the highest setting.
That'll save you on drying time, and drying is another large expense.
whether it's electric or gas.
Dryers are energy hogs, costing an average 45 cents a load. Cindy's advice, run the dryer on low heat.
Even if you have to run that dryer for a longer period of time, you're going to save a lot of energy.
And you know how sheets tangle into a ball? She invented this gizmo, wad-free for bed sheets.
Prevents your sheets from wadding up, both in the washing machine and the dryer, so they come out cleaner and they dry up to 75% faster.
Cleaning your lint trap, dryer vent, and moisture sensors will save drying time and money, too. And of course, there's fresh air, the frugal way to go. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Taking a look outside with live cam. We've been watching these same skies all day long. Yes, we hit triple digits.
So far, it's unofficial at the airport, but we'll know at 6 o'clock if we really did or didn't. So we'll have that update then. But, you know, this weekend, it's going to be more of the same. What can you expect right now? Luckily, it's more of our closer to typical summertime heat than what we had in June and even early July when we had the really oppressive humidity and high temperatures around 105, 106. That's not the case right now. So when you really put it in perspective, we're getting a little bit of a break compared to weeks past. Take a look at the weekend. 100 tomorrow, actually partly cloudy. I think we'll have some blow-off clouds coming in from the south. And then Sunday, a lot of sunshine, 101 the high temperature. Still a bit of a dusty haze in our sky because of the light to moderate amounts of that African dust. That's going to be thinning out tomorrow. Here's our computer model animation. Very light amounts by 1 p.m. and then pretty much out of here by Sunday morning. Then we don't have to even think about it for the foreseeable future. It's going to stay far, far away from us. I do want to point out that it did not affect air quality again today. We're still in the moderate levels, which is just one step down from good. So on this entire scale, we're just one step down from good, and we never got into the unhealthy range. And you look at the actual live readout here of the the air quality sensors around San Antonio and Bexar County, and they're all in the yellow, which is that moderate category. Here's the big picture, satellite and radar, and our overall pattern. We have a disturbance down to the south of us. We've been talking all week that the door's open with the center of the high over the desert southwest. So the door's open. We'd welcome a disturbance. This one is too far to the south, and it's keeping all of its moisture and energy down in Mexico, just offshore into the Gulf, and down in the valley, far south, deep south Texas. I do think it's going to throw some clouds our way. Add a little variety to the sky, I guess. Better than nothing, especially with some high clouds. I do think it's going to be doing that. As for the tropics, a quick tropical update here. We're watching this area that's moving into Central America. That's going to cross over and go into the Pacific with a 70% chance of development. Sometimes we can get remnant moisture from those Pacific systems. That's not going to be the case with this one. Then we've got another one we're watching way out in the Atlantic that's got a 60% chance of development as it heads to the west-northwest into the central Atlantic over the next 5 days. So we'll keep an eye on that and keep you updated. Otherwise, no good tropical moisture headed our way. If you are going to the beach or bay this weekend, decent fishing conditions, just a light chop on the bays because of that southeasterly wind, usually at 5 to 10, maybe at times picking up to 15 miles per hour. On the Gulf side, seas about 2 feet. Temperatures, well, the usual. We're going to be in the 90s, low to mid 90s, and the water temperature upper 80s to near 90 degrees, especially in those back bays. It's some toasty water there. Looking ahead, a lot of sunshine. We do trend upward a little bit in the temperature department, back to 103 by Tuesday and even Wednesday of next week. Now, again, the update coming at 6. Did we or didn't we officially at the airport? It's that psychological boost, right? I'll let you know.
Yeah. Unofficial. Keep it unofficial.
Yeah, there we go. All right. The Cowboys defense is their strong point, was last year. David Sears, could I make the argument that they got better in the offseason?
You can. You can make the argument, sure.
Would you agree with that argument?
I would. On paper,
Okay,
they're probably the best, if not one of the best.
Yeah.
Defenses in the league. Now they just got to go out and prove it. But yeah, no, they took some strides in the offseason, and we're going to learn more about one of the veteran defensive backs that the Cowboys picked up in the offseason. Steve pretty much loves this guy. Larry Ramirez will be live in Oxnard, likes that guy too.
It's far. I've never really been on the West Coast, but it's a good setup. You know, everything is right here. The weather's great, so it's no complaints.
Weather's awesome out there, about 75 degrees. Stephon Gilmore enjoying Oxnard, California as we go camping with KSAT.
Camping with KSAT, powered by Davis Law Firm.
The Cowboys spent the offseason building up that defensive backfield. They have Trevon Diggs for 5 more years at $100 million, one of the best corners in the league. They also spent some capital, not much, trading for another top-notch defensive back, cornerback Stephon Gilmore. He comes to the Cowboys with a whole lot of credentials. All right, Larry Mears now joins us live from Oxnard with more on that veteran defensive back. Larry?
Yeah, hey, David. So after 2 straight days of practicing, the Dallas Cowboys held a walkthrough only that started at 10 this morning, California time, and it was a bit quieter here today as well because the walkthrough was not open to the public. Well, that will change tomorrow, though, with the opening ceremony. So the Cowboys are expecting cornerback Stephon Gilmore to make a lot of noise this season, and that's why back in March, the Cowboys traded for him and sent the Colts a 5th rounder in exchange. The 32-year-old is entering his 12th season in the league. He's a Super Bowl champion, the NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 2019, and a 5-time Pro Bowler. He's happy to be here, and he enjoys teaching the Cowboys' younger DBs.
Sure, I just try to, come in and, teach them as much as I know. So they ask me a lot of questions, and I give them as much as I can because, it's a talented team, a lot of talented players. So I've been around the block a couple of times, so just trying to help as much as I can.
He's been in the league like 12, 13 years, so, everything that he does, he's doing it the right way. So, I'm just taking notes and just learning and soaking up everything that I can from him.
Tomorrow's a big day with the opening ceremonies, followed by practice. Sunday, the players are off, and then we'll go one-on-one with Jerry Jones on instant replay. So the Lion, Micah Parsons, took to the podium today, and he's talking about taking his guys into the deep water. We'll have that for you at 6. David?
All right, Larry, we look forward to that. Thank you much. And also coming up at 6 o'clock, we caught up with the Spurs' Keldon Johnson at his summer basketball camp for kids this morning, and we're going to hear from him about his role in the upcoming Spurs season. Also excited about Wembanyama.
I was going to say, I'm guessing somebody asked him about Wemby.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give that away.
It's called a sports tease.
Yeah. If you didn't ask about Wembanyama, there's a problem. We'll be right back. I'll give you a quick look at traffic here. This is I-35 at Walters, and you can see a slowdown, but traffic is at least moving on this very hot Friday.
Much the same thing right here at 410 and Fredericksburg Road. You can see slow-moving traffic, but really no stoppages happening right now.
Yeah, and we showed you this earlier, 410 at Jackson Keller. Big time slowdown as Jackson Keller heads towards the I-10 intersection there. No major accidents to tell you about, but traffic is very heavy on this Friday. Adam.
You know what I noticed more than anything in those traffic cameras is how brown the grass has gotten.
It's
and
horrible.
Those medians, and along the sides. Unfortunately, no rain in the forecast. Right near 100 degrees again tomorrow here in town. Del Rio 102, Crystal City 103, Helotes 97, Elmendorf 100. This weekend, more of the same, near 100.
Thanks, Adam, and thank you for watching the news at 5.
See you back here at 6.